Welcome back to the channel, and today we are taking another look at one of the attacks from our war against Only the Brave. So this wasn't a CWL war or anything. This was just a friendly war we kind of put together in the downtime while ESL was going on and we didn't have a war for CWL. So we ended up getting a victory. Let's look at the stats. Yeah, 18-12. So very good war for them. We just kind of had a pretty good push there at the end, and it led to us, just pushing the score up. We were done with our attacks a lot earlier than them, so kind of put the carrot way out ahead and tried to see if they could catch up. But overall, great war from both sides. Before we get into the breakdown of the base, today we're going to be looking at a Queen Charge Lalo. Before we get into that, I want to say thank you again for all the support, your subscriptions, your likes, your comments, your ideas, sharing with your clanmates. All that has been really, really helpful. We're plus like 400 subs from where we started, and that was about a month ago. So really excited about that. Can't wait to get home so I can start kind of expanding what I do. It's kind of hard to push the channel out farther from where I'm at, but we're doing what we can. So thank you for playing your part in that. And today we are looking at Queen Charge Lalo. We got Red 5 coming in here. He's been really, really working on his different types of Lalos, and especially in this meta where, ground seems to kind of dominate. It's always good to have people kind of trying to work outside that, and Red's been kind of tipping the spear on that one, so kind of pays off in this war. He had a really good war. A lot of Lalo attacks from him. But we're going to be taking a kind of in-depth look at this one because we don't see it very often. And I want to kind of describe why it was so dominant. So first thing I can notice off of this base is it's not completely maxed. You got a couple wizard towers, a couple cannons. Archer tower is not completely maxed. So it's not 100% maxed. Nice Town Hall 11 mortar. But, not all bases are going to be maxed right now. It does have pretty much max heroes. I think level 17 is world champ. Yeah, but they're almost there. So, not quite max, but it's not like a dip or anything like that. Still got the max scatter shots and whatnot. Yep. All right, so Red's going to be coming in here with a Queen Charge Lalo. So, obviously, the first thing I always look at with an air attack is the sweepers. So, you got sweeper this way and a sweeper this way, right? So, I kind of always point out, whenever you're doing a queen charge and you have really deep sweepers, like kind of offset to one side, like even though they're pointing in different directions, right? Let's just go ahead and separate the base. So this is like my halfway point for the base from either this side or this side. If both my sweepers are down here, even if one is pointed this way, I'm kind of free to do a queen charge or, like I guess a Yeti attack or something like that. That involves like a really big push from the healers on this side, because even though the sweeper is facing this direction, you got to think that whenever my queen is, let's say, here by this bomb tower, my healers are actually like over here, right? So there's still a fair bit of distance between where those healers are and where that sweeper is going to be. So it's not really going to be something that's going to affect us. Now, it does affect us with the Lalo. So when we're planning out our Lalo, these sweeper positions become much more important. So obviously, you don't want to Lalo into a sweeper. That sometimes it works, but obviously it's not ideal. So, coming in with a Lalo from like this direction is not really the best idea. However, you can kind of see this direction is kind of free game, right? Because not only does a Lalo get you behind the sweeper, but it gets you through the town hall and it gets you into the sweepers on the back end, right? And then the eagle is kind of in this area too. So let's look at that channel, right? So we know where the sweeper's at. Let's kind of identify if that channel is worth using air on. Okay, so let's go ahead and mark everything here, right? Because this is pretty much your Lalo channel. And then obviously we know it's Queen Charge Lalo, so the queen is going to be responsible for the majority up here. We'll talk about that, but let's talk about just base identification for a Lalo, right? So the first thing I can kind of gather from looking at this Lalo, or this loom path, is that I have a good opportunity here for like a double finger loon drop that will kind of push my loons here and here. Okay, so it's almost like this is almost like the beginning of your loon pathing. So even though we kind of identified this very large channel as where we want to bring our loons, if you notice, the defenses here are never really outside of this initial lane, until you get to like the back end. Now there are some defenses here on the outside, like this cannon, archer tower, mortar, archer tower down here. But as I've kind of always discussed, we are going to be using support loons to kind of keep our Lalo moving through the base, all within that channel. So those are very, very good placements for our loons to support, because if as your loons are moving in through here, starting off your path, you get a couple loons coming in this way, and then they start working down this way, and then your loons get into the town hall and into the expo. You go ahead and start getting your loons going this way. So these loons start going into this wizard tower. They start going to the wizard tower. Then as you start going into the scatter shot in the wizard tower, you get some loons down here on the mortar. Everything starts pushing in from the archer towers. And then eventually, you kind of have like this big reinforcing element of loons coming from the outside. And it's a lot less chaotic than it could be, because these defenses on the outside are kind of uniformly spread and they're uniformly placed. So like if I know if I drop loons anywhere in this vicinity, they're going here. I know if I drop loons anywhere in this vicinity, they're here. Same thing here, and then same thing here, right? So it's not like I have a defense here and a defense here, and everything's going to kind of get jumbled up and it's kind of random. I don't really have to think too much. I know I just have to put, 3 loans, 3 loans, 3 loans, and then, I'm good to go, right? So that's really good for your support loans. And then as we've kind of seen on my main path of loans, let's go ahead and actually draw out the defensive pathing, right? So here in the middle where we have the clan castle, obviously we have to like kind of skirt around it in a way, but it's not really a huge deal because obviously we don't have to like destroy it or anything. But we have like a really tight group of loons that can come in this path. Now, a lot of people would probably want to go with like a stone slammer here, but actually red's going to do something different, and I'm going to show you that when we get into it, kind of show you why a stone slammer isn't the most ideal siege machine on an attack like this. But that's the Lalo pathing. And then let's look at the actual defenses that we can get from the Lalo. So mortar doesn't target loons, and an archer tower is not going to do anything to, a healthy pack of loons. It might kill 1 loon, right? Then you have a ground expo. Town hall is something to kind of worry about. However, with the town hall, you can see that the scatter shot, this wizard tower, and this archer tower are right behind it. So if I get something here to kind of tank this town hall, it's also going to be tanking these defenses. And then if I bring in a lava hound, let's say pink for lava hound, and it sits here on this air defense, look at all the buildings. Let's clear this. Look at all the buildings here that are going to be targeting on this air defense. So we got wizard tower, scatter shot, wizard tower, royal champ, inferno, another ground expo. So all these buildings are the ones that you actually have to worry about, and all of those buildings are tanked. So all the way past the town hall, the most concerning defenses are all tanked on one air defense, and then before the town hall, you actually only have 1 defense that can target loons. So no threat here, big threat here, but can be easily dealt with, and then big threat here, but everything can be tanked on 1 building, right? Now granted, it's not that lava hound is not going to last that long, but this is your only big threat in the base, this little scatter shot and double wizard tower compartment, right? Because I don't have to fight the sweeper because the sweeper's pointing that way, so I can come in here kind of leisurely with like a rage, maybe a freeze, and a lava hound, and take all this out with a nice healthy group of loons. And also at the same time, we're going to have loons coming in from this direction, kind of coming in to support, right? So everything kind of works out there. And then we look at the back side of the base. Again, loons coming in from here to kind of support this way as my loons come in through here, riding this channel. Everything kind of meets up here. And then on this back end, we have 2 archer towers, 1 air defense, a single inferno, and a warden, and a bunch of cannons. So nothing major here, no scatter shots, nothing like that to threaten my loons. So as I'm looking at this base, I know that the only threat to my loons are right here. This is it. So I just had to have a real solid Lalo coming through this area, and then as long as I have a good support system coming through here, then I know I can get to the back end. So that's all fine and dandy, but how are we dealing with this portion of the base? Because this is kind of the key to making the Lalo successful, even up to the eagle, right? So this isn't like a very easy queen charge, because compartments like this bomb tower are designed to make it very difficult to do like a wall break and then a wall break into here, because your wall breakers then they don't recognize that even though they broke through this initial compartment here to get to the bomb tower, this compartment is still recognized as a separate compartment. So another wall breaker comes in and it'll break on this expo. So that's the whole purpose behind these compartments. Again, with this compartment here, what it's going to end up doing, if you wall break into here and then you try to send in another wall breaker to like right here, it's still going to recognize this bomb tower compartment and it's going to go in there. So effectively you're breaking the same layer of walls open 2 times. So a wall break there is not going to be very effective. Now, what other defenses in here are going to cause me issues on something like a queen charge or a Sui, right? So got the single inferno, big red flag, enemy queen, pain in the ass, scatter shot. So combination of these buildings kind of makes me wary on a queen charge, especially with something like the auto ability, because we all know that, you know, the auto ability is not very good in this game. Then you have ground expo, enemy king. So this is a lot of damage, right? This is a very high damage area. Now, what red's actually going to opt to do, because I've already kind of discussed that the wall break isn't very effective here, but neither is a jump, because like a jump right here doesn't give me anywhere like past the queen compartment, right? So like I can work in here and I can kind of work in here, I guess, but that's kind of an awkward jump and it's not really effective. So kind of realizing that, hey, on a normal queen charge Lalo, you know, I think it's like 4 rages, 2 freeze, 2 haste, 1 poison, that kind of deal. Realizing that I don't necessarily need a lot of spell support for my Lalo. You know, that's kind of the thinking here, because this is the only area of contention, and if I hit my Grand Warden coming through here, it'll kind of last me all the way to in here with the spell, right? So I don't really need a lot of spell support. I can't use wall breakers, or if I can, it's kind of risky. What can I use? Well, let's count the tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this 10 tile compartment right here, red's going to bring an earthquake, or he's going to bring 4 earthquakes. And he's going to open up this whole entire compartment. Now, it's going to take some funneling to get his queen to go in here. You know, he's going to have to kind of funnel this way, and that way his queen can kind of step in and take this channel. But what the earthquake is going to do is it actually opens up not just the queen compartment, but it opens him up all the way into this portion of the base. Okay, so I know his queen eventually does get the eagle, I believe. But if you notice, all these defenses that he's going to be able to take out with his queen just complement his Lalo, because of where we've identified the sweeper positioning. So if he can get into, you know, this layer of defenses down here, like the RC and the queen and everything, that just makes his Lalo pathing even tighter coming to his town hall, which means he needs even less spell support, which makes the earthquake like twice as valuable, right? And then also in this area, since he's going to be using a rage and probably bringing a free spell for that inferno, by using the quakes, he's going to take the HP of pretty much everything here down to almost dead, right? So earthquake kind of serves 2 purposes. It opens up walls, obviously, and it opens up 10 layers of walls, so it's like twice as valuable as jump. But it's also almost going to act like a mini rage spell in the fact that it reduces the HP of all the buildings, therefore reducing the amount of damage that your queen takes by reducing the amount of time it takes for your queen to kill those buildings. So kind of getting a lot of value out of those quakes. You just have to be able to afford them with your back end attack, in which we've already discussed that the back end here is not very difficult to deal with. So that's kind of the overall breakdown. We're gonna get into, I'll kind of slow it down as we go through it, and then we'll kind of discuss what went right, what went wrong. But overall, this is a very good attack. Oh, Siege Machine. I forgot to cover Siege Machine. All right, so Siege Machines for a Lalo, a lot of people will be using something like a Stone Slammer or a Blimp, right? A lot of people like to send in a Blimp for the Town Hall, use like Super Goblins or whatnot, and a Lava Hound. Red's actually going to be using a Blimp here, but he's going to use it in kind of an unconventional way. What he's going to do is he's going to get his loons down, right? And then he's going to send in the Blimp over top of his loons from the same direction. And what that's actually going to end up doing is killing the Town Hall before his loons get in danger from it. And it's also going to provide him a Lava Hound to go forward onto this air defense and tank all the traps. And that means he doesn't need to bring 2 Lava Hounds to the attack. He only needs to bring 1. So it's going to work out very well. And you're going to see that the loons that he drops here are not going to take like any damage for the first, quarter of the base. And then he's going to do something that's kind of, it was a good idea, but it does, things don't always work out. He's going to like drop a Deep Rage here, kind of before these loons get to it. And what his plan is, as things come through this compartment, they hit this rage and everything kind of smashes through here underneath that tome, right? Now, there's going to be like Teslas that pop up out here, and it's going to kind of force his loons to take this route. And he gets like almost no value out of that rage. But it was a good idea. I'm not a real big fan of like pre-raging or anything like that. Maybe a pre-haste is fine, but a pre-rage is pretty expensive, especially when things don't go right. But you're going to see in his attack, it actually didn't matter at all. He probably could have just put it in the grass somewhere and it would have been fine. So that's the overall plan, guys. We don't see a lot of Queen Charge Lalo, so I know this breakdown is kind of going longer than my other ones. However, this is probably one of the more requested videos that I get, and I just want to make sure that I kind of go in depth on what you're looking for, because this is a very base specific attack. Okay, so let's get into the replay, and very nice job, Red 5 here. So first of all, let's look at the spell comp. It's only bringing 1 haste. It's got 3 rages, 4 earthquakes, 1 freeze, 1 poison. And he's bringing 29 balloons. So Queen Charge Lalo at Town Hall 13 almost looks like what an old Sui Lalo would have been, because you're only really required to bring that 1 hound most of the time, right? So I've seen a couple times 2 Lava Hounds on a Queen Charge Lalo at 13. However, the actual value in the base is usually garnered by your Archer Queen. So bringing plenty of cleanup, and you're going to see he doesn't really have a ton of funnel troops, but he's going to use them really effectively. So let's get into how he does it. He gets his queen down, Baby Dragon, just outside the range of that air defense. And by getting this building here and here, what it ends up doing is breaking enough to where his queen's not going to take that direction, but also if she did, she would still take this path because it's the closest building. So use this king to push out there. Now he finds ground skellies here, which, Infernos usually have ground skellies around them now to kind of prevent a RC from being able to sui. But he's really patient, gets the freeze down. Very late on the rage, which ended up causing him to phase really early, which is usually like a death sentence at Town Hall 13. But everything's kind of going good. He gets the poison over the ice golems and the king. And he's got 2 rages left and 1 haste. So you can already kind of start seeing what I pointed out. He's killing everything that this sweeper is going to get. Now if his queen can get in here and start working on these buildings, you can kind of see this lava path that I was talking about. And it's a lot more clear now that some of the buildings are gone. But you see how fast that compartment went down? It wasn't just a combination with the rage and the ability. It was a combination of the earthquakes too. So that whole compartment pretty much melted. Now he's tanking on the ground expo. Once that goes down, his queen is going to be pretty much home free. I think he invests one more rage spell. Yeah, there you go. Just kind of speed things up. He definitely wants the enemy RC. Gets those that balloon or the blimp down. And here comes his lava hound. Now there's the Teslas that we talked about. He's going to use his RC. And then there's that pre-rage. But those Teslas kind of throw him off. But you can see Lava Hound is tanking everything in this compartment. You barely like clips the rage as he's coming through. His Warden, keeps half of his loons safe. Queen's up there beating a wall. Still has the RC. Uses the ability. RC's kind of working like a super balloon right now. But he's got so many loons. And then like we talked about on the back side of the base, there's just nothing left. He's got like 29 balloons and a bunch of point defenses. It's not going to do much. Queen's still alive, and his RC's still alive. So this base was yeah, Red really put in some good work on this base. That was a really nice Queen charge Lalo. And plenty of cleanup. You see the super gobs from the balloon or the blimp still survive. So those super gobs are pretty crazy. So Red also had thanks for the hogs. Red also had a Sui Lalo or Electron that he really liked. I'm not going to make a video on it, but I will show it in this video. Which Red account? Oh, I remember what base it was. 13. Yeah, Darkwing Duck. Okay, so this was very interesting because I don't think that the attack itself warrants like a description because it was kind of a messy ass attack. But the fact that it worked, well, you'll see what I'm talking about, right? So pulls the CC with his RC, but he gets the value that he wanted, using his king to kill the enemy RC. Ice golems are pretty slow, so he's got some room to work, using his queen up top to get the Teslas, and I believe he's going for that air defense. Now watch this. This is an Electron Lalo, and he's going to be using 2 clone spells. So very heavy investment, and you can kind of see what he's shooting for here in the court, right? Double scatters, Inferno, Queen, Expose, Sweeper. Very high value, so if he can make it work, it's definitely worth the double clone. Now what he should have did is probably, hindsight 2020, send in a blimp from this direction, because it comes up just short. Now watch, finds the tornado. I think I said that in the other video, but these guys had really well placed tornado traps. I mean, his E-Drag got nothing. 2 clone spells got like 4 buildings, right? So this is like one of those moments where you're like, nice try in chat while he's still attacking, because he's flying into a sweeper, and he's going to pull this one back. And the way he pulls it back, if you notice, he had like 30 loons. He's kind of going... He's going to break this down into like sections of the base. He's not going to do like your typical Lalo. Like right now he's deployed like 10 loons or 12 loons or whatever. And he is deploying those with the full intentions of only getting like this area down. And then he's going to work the next group of loons into the next area. I mean, literally everything that could go wrong for Lalo on this base has gone wrong. He's got double scatter shots, eagle opposite side of the base, got the town hall flying into a sweeper, bunch of wizard towers. So things are not going right, but you're going to see how he kind of pulls it back. So being very patient, he's got 47%, knows he needs one more percent, gets the freeze down, gets the haste, gets a good tome over all the loons, and these loons are going to go into those scatter shots, and he starts working on the next section of the base. Only deploys 8 loons. Let's get those wizard towers down. So the wizard towers are both tanked on the air defense. Loons have no problem. Then he starts working on the next section of the base. Those loons from the first group are gone, right? So he's working on his second and third group. Still has 4 loons in the bag. Gets them into the air defense into the eagle. Now he just has 1 Inferno and 1 air defense with 2 Teslas. So gets those last 4 down on the Teslas. Gets his cleanup down. And I mean, as far as plans go, that went as wrong as it can go, but talking about pulling it back from the brink. Very nice attack here from red. And yeah, I would have ruled this one out from the jump. I would have probably backed out from watching it. I'm like, oh, back to the drawing board. But red pulls it through, showing you should never rage quit. This is why you don't rage quit, boys. So very nice job. So yeah, red's been working on a lot of Lalo. And it's actually quite a few guys in our clan working on a lot of Lalo. And myself included. I had a Lalo plan over in Cold September that I ended up not running because I was going for cleanup. Still ended up time failing. But the plan worked, and the guy who ran the plan actually ended up time failing. So it's something to do with my plans that just caused all these time fails. But that's it for the video, guys. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Looking forward to being able to bring you guys some, better content, maybe some like live attacking. But for me, it's most wars start very late at night for me, and then I work during the day, and by the time I get to record a video, I've usually already done my attacks because I don't want to kind of overlap it. So when I get home, it'll be a lot easier. It'll be a lot more standard time for me. But for now, I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm trying to bring you guys some quality content. Like I said, make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe, pass it on to your friends, clanmates, whatnot. You're not going to see very many in-depth videos like this, especially talking about like how to read a base for it or what makes it a good, makes it a good candidate for like a queen charge Lalo or something like that. So thank you guys for tuning in. Big shout out to my wife. You're killing it, baby. I love you very much. And I'll catch you guys on the next video.